Hello everyone, this is this week's second lesson on the bear and the piano. So we finished the story yesterday, fantastic story. We liked it so much that we thought in this session we would get you to think about planning your own version of the story, but changing it a little bit. So we're going to start by looking at this plan here, which is called a bare bones plan. It's called a bare bones plan because it just tells you the bare bones of the story, so the key things that happen in the story. This example can be found in our English folder for this week, session 2. Then we want you to think about your own story, of course. So I've done an example. I'm going to show it to you now. I have come up with a different character. He's a giraffe, a baby giraffe, and rather than playing the piano, he plays a flute. And rather than having the fear that he will miss his friends, his fear is that he will be too tall for the concert halls, so people might laugh at him. I've used exactly the same structure as the story of the bear and the piano. So I've got once a baby giraffe in Africa discovered a flute in a tree. He taught himself how to play. He is discovered by some humans. So already, hopefully, you can see some similarities. It's an animal. He's teaching himself how to play an instrument. He's discovered by some humans. I'm not putting in lots of detail here, just some bullet points, just the bare bones. Then he agrees to go to England with them in 6 months' time. But this is where it's quite different because rather than missing his friend, his problem happens before he goes away. He grows much taller and is worried that he will be too tall for the concert halls and that people might laugh at him. But his mum convinces him to go. Then, just like the bear, he goes away and becomes famous. And again, a bit of a difference here. He misses his mum, but rather than the bear going home, so obviously the bear went home in our story, this time I've got his mum going to live in England with him. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed some things, but I've kept some things the same. Now, I can't wait to see what you produce when you come up with your own version. Remember, you can change the instrument, you can change the animal, you can change some other bits and pieces as well. Try not to change too much because it might become tricky then. But in the English folder for session 2, we've also put a blank plan in so you can plan your own story. And this will be really, really useful for us in session 3 of this week's English because that's when we will be writing our own story.